You're in a good place now. You are listening to Perspectives with Ashley Burgess.
Welcome back live to the Ashley Burgess Show. And today I want to talk about malignant narcissists. Being able to identify malignant narcissists. Understanding what a malignant narcissist is. And I'm going to give you some examples in the news with people who are malignant narcissists, who decide that they can say whatever they want to say, they'll do whatever they want to do, and it doesn't matter because they're not going to take responsibility for their actions. And if you're in a relationship with a malignant narcissist, you probably feel pretty beat down by now. You probably feel pretty beat down, very disappointed, very upset, and you're dealing with somebody that has absolutely zero empathy for you and somebody that's actually gets happiness, gets joy off of upsetting you, off of putting you down, because these are small people that are hiding behind this big mask. And on today's show, I think it's very important to discuss this. I think that many of you might have a malignant narcissist in your life, and these people are a cancer. They are a cancer. You want to cut them out of your life. And you might be in a relationship with one of these people, and you're going to have to safeguard yourself because, the care is not real care. And unfortunately, I don't know if they're even capable of loving anybody because of this entire concept of being so negative, being brutal, and not taking any responsibility for anything that they do or say. Okay, they can say anything they want to say, and then you're supposed to just take them back in good graces. Now, if you flip the script and you say something rude to them, something that they consider mean or disrespectful, well, you got another thing coming. Okay, they don't accept that type of stuff. They don't accept anybody going against them. And if you do, you will pay. You will pay, and they'll make sure that you do. And so today, let's talk about what it means to be a malignant narcissist. And it's like the top of the game of narcissism. When you become a malignant narcissist, you are an extreme narcissist. You are right at that edge, I believe, like antisocial behavior. People call it sociopathic behavior. You're right there. You're right up on there, okay? There's not a lot of, division between that and that, okay? So it's very close. It's like they're both sitting together. You got like the antisocial sociopath sitting next to the malignant narcissist in the car. And you know how when you take turns and stuff like that, people kind of collide in the back seat, if they're not wearing a seatbelt or what have you. And this is how close we are when we're dealing with these types of people. Okay, first off, when we're thinking about a malignant narcissist, they are self-important. They are so important. They are more important than anybody else. They have extreme arrogance. Okay, they are arrogant. They are superior. You are not superior to them. You are this peon. You are a peon to them. They think everybody's a peon. And they are superior to you. And they're going to tell you that. They're going to tell you that in every way. And the weird thing about it is, for many of you, if you have a malignant narcissist in your life, some of these people might have a decent title. Some of them might be, lawyers, doctors, politicians, what have you. But some of them don't have much going on at all, okay? But they're still playing the same game. They're still arrogant and self-important, no matter if they are not working at all. They could be playing video games on the couch. They're still arrogant, and they still have this self-important righteousness of being better and superior and more important and more educated and more everything than you are. They lack empathy. Now, this is one of the biggest things that gets me, is that you can have issues. You can have depression. You can have anxiety. You can have borderline personality disorder. You can have various things in your life. But when you don't have empathy for other people, that's a problem with me. Okay, that's a problem, because when somebody doesn't have empathy for you, they don't care about you. Okay, let's just get that straight. Without empathy, they don't care. You might think you got something with somebody, but the moment they can get something over on you, the moment they can take you out, they will. They will, and they're happy about it. So I need you to really start looking around and thinking about this. When you're thinking about these characteristics that I'm bringing up in today's podcast, you might want to share this with a buddy of yours, a friend of yours that's in a really challenging relationship that starts sounding like this, or maybe a parent or family dynamic, or even a boss dynamic. Okay, lack of empathy. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about your needs. They don't care about any of that. It has nothing to do with them. It's all about them, what they need, and everybody else is just a means to an end. Everybody else they only take care of if they need something from you. And once they get whatever they get from you and they're done with you, they will throw you away like trash. That is the way it is. Or they'll string you along. They'll string you along so that they can basically use you as their supply and their minion for as long as you will let them. They'll hold you as long as they can. And suck the last blood out of you. You know, seriously, it's like a vampire. If they can keep their minions and their ghouls around as long as they possibly can, they will until they kill them. And this is kind of the concept. I'm not saying that malignant narcissists murder people, but I'm saying, they could get very close as far as mentally and emotional abuse, as well as physical abuse as well. Let's not take that out of the ballpark as well. Manipulation. Yes, they are the creators of manipulation. They are the creators of exploitation. They are the creators of doing this. They are great at it, and they gain from doing it. And they get great pleasure from pushing your buttons, and they get great pleasure from making you feel bad and putting you down and manipulating and triangulating and doing all these things and telling you all these things, and it doesn't come to pass. And what I find is that a malignant narcissist is a great future faker. Ooh, they are good at future faking. They will tell you anything to get you to get along with them, to stay by their side, to provide for them, to do everything. Oh, I'm going to be this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be the president of the United States. I believe it. Whatever it is that they're telling you that they're going to do, that they have no intention of doing. And that's one thing that you really need to look at when you're dealing with any narcissist for that matter. But definitely a malignant narcissist, they like to play games with your head. They like to play a game with your head, get you to believe a story, then they future fake it. Oh, guess what? When I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and I'm that and all this stuff, and you start believing it, and you start believing about the high life and all this stuff that you're gonna have. But they're not really wanting to do that at all. That is just a way. That's a game that they're playing in their own head to create the false reality to get you to be a part of this. And I think part of it is they're so out of touch with reality, they actually believe some of these far-fetched concepts. They actually believe some of this, and because they do all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, like doing things that are absolutely insane, and thinking it's okay. Like it's like that's not even part of reality. It's like you got to really think about that. And they will exploit you as well. So in the process of using you, they will take advantage of you. They will make fun of you. They'll talk behind your back. They'll do all kinds of stuff. And they're not friends to anybody. So don't think that one person's getting something over on you. They're taking advantage of every single person, okay? So they can get everything they want and then take off or keep using you if you want to keep staying. Because, they're not forcing you to stay. You might be staying because you're trying to get them to change or be better or understand who you are. And in the process, I don't really think that they're learning anything. And they don't plan on learning anything. It's you that keep waiting for them to learn or to wake up or to be more empathetic. So they also are very aggressive. Okay, they're very emotionally and verbally and physically aggressive with other people. Now, sometimes not so physical because they don't want to go to jail or do that kind of stuff, but they will, behind closed doors, emotionally and mentally beat you down. Sometimes to the point where they will rant and rave for hours on end, repeating themselves over and over again in the process of beating you down like mind control. This is how it works, okay? I know this sounds crazy, but this is reality. This is what's really happening. If you look in the news every day, you have some malignant narcissist making some comment that if the average person did, they would be behind bars or be buried under the jail. And they still do it over and over again, no matter what they have done in their own life, no matter how bad they've been, no matter how illegal they've done, no matter what they've done to break the law, they still comment about other people in ways that are unbelievable, that they have just the audacity to think they can do this. Because remember, they are bigger than life. They are arrogant. They will go to all extremes to preserve themselves, even no matter what it has to do, no matter if it has to ruin you. If they have to walk on people's heads and walk on people's bodies to get what they want, they will. That's just the way it is. And, it's sad. And some of you are in relationships with these people. Some of you are married to these people. And you keep coming up short, because it's like they can't. It's like you get beat down, you get beat down, you get beat down. And then they give you a crumb. And then they beat you down more. And then they give you a crumb. And then you get beaten down more. And the mind control is probably one of the toughest things, because many of you don't want to believe that this person actually has a problem. You don't want to actually accept the fact, that this is who you're dealing with. This is the type of person you're dealing with. You don't want to accept the fact that this is the person you're dealing with. And this is so sad. And I understand it's hard because many of you might have kids with these people, long-term relationships with these people. But, think about it. Come to terms now before it gets even worse. They can be, they're kind of sadists and they lack remorse. And they enjoy causing pain to other people. And they don't have remorse for their actions. And I want you to really think about that. Let that sit in for a little bit. Let that sit in. Think about it. Because they don't have any remorse. And it shows in their actions. It shows in their statements, in their comments, in what they do and what they don't do. It's like, I'm very self-aware and I care about how I treat other people. And it matters to me, being a friend, a family member. I try to go the extra mile. I do whatever I can. And it is interesting to watch how some people don't do that at all. They have no intention of doing that. And it's really, really all about them. It really is. And, when you and see, that's the thing is that it's so all about them and they're so aggressive and they will come at you at any level. But at the same time, these same people are super paranoid. They're super paranoid. They're super suspicious of other people. Any sort of perceived criticism, not good. Any sort of perceived anything. If you try to tell them anything, that's not good. If you try to give them any sort of help or guidance as far as, hey, that's not right or whatever, they will fight you. They will make fun of you. They will bring up anything and everything you've ever done. They also think everybody's watching them. They think everybody's watching them. They think that they're paranoid. They think that there's video cameras up everywhere and everybody's watching them. Who cares? I mean, some of these people, you got nothing going on. Who really cares? Nobody's watching you. Nobody. And some people are watching you. But it's like, okay, you might be in a public position. But otherwise, probably not being watched. But, you think about the whole paranoia and, suspicion. It's like, I think a lot of that comes from the fact that they do wrong to people. They're constantly doing wrong. They're constantly hurting people. And so they're watching their back because you know what? At any moment they could get they could get back what they sow, and I think that's definitely what's happening here with these folks. They're definitely paranoid and scared because they should be. They're constantly doing the wrong thing and expecting, it's okay. I mean, they say crazy things. They do crazy things. And it's like, if somebody retaliates, oh, then they're the jerk. They're the asshole. So if you retaliate, and this is a form of abuse as well. I do all this stuff to you and then you retaliate and then I make an example of you and make you feel bad about it. Okay, this is a game, another game being played again by these types of people. Now, the manipulation and the deceit. I mean, they lie. They are skilled liars. They are good at it. They are great liars. They lie about every single thing, okay? Don't think that thing might not be a lie. It's a lie, and it's probably a lie cooked up in another lie, wrapped up in another lie, and wrapped up in a riddle. I am not kidding you. I know that sounds extreme, but this is how these people operate. You met them and they were lying to you. Right now they're lying to you. They don't even. Sometimes I even wonder if there's so much psychosis involved. Is there so much psychosis that they actually believe their lies? And I know that they don't believe all of them. I know that for a fact because I think they get off online. I think they like the fact of, of saying one thing and doing another and hooking somebody on the hook, believing this is going to happen. It doesn't happen. They love that. They love that. And they want to lie to you and manipulate you so they can achieve their life goals that they want you to help them carry out. Okay? They want you to help carry that out. There's also that need for control and that need for power. They are power people. They are power hungry. They want power and dominance no matter what. And some of these people that want power and dominance, yes, they're in the political limelight. They might be key lawyers. You might be seeing them on social media all the time. But some of these people, yeah, I mean, they're not. But they're still acting like that. And not that it gives anybody the right, no matter what your title is, to do that. But it's unbelievable what's happening here. And, it's on both sides. Let's not say that, well, just one side's okay and the other side's not. No, I mean, this is constant. And some of these things, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, some of this stuff, and a good example is, and I know that, it's really kind of wacky what James Comey recently did in his social media, comment about killing the president. And he thinks that's okay. He thinks that's okay. Everybody should be okay with that. And it's this lame excuse, used by these shells that supposedly, put out 4 different, numbers, that had no meaning whatsoever. And I've never seen shells like that in my life, like just be able to have 4 numbers spelled out perfect. It was wonderful graphics. And, and then to say, I didn't know what it was. It's just this game. So it's like, I'm basically saying I want to kill this person, but then I'm going to act stupid about it and I'm just going to get away with it. And that's what all these people do. If you think about it, this is the constant game. They constantly gaslight you as well. So then I'm going to put this out, but then I'm going to gaslight you when you bring it up. And I'm gonna sit there and turn it around. And it's like, I think everybody's getting tired of this. I think people are getting tired of, because it's really insulting people's intelligence, but also just insulting the fact that, we know this isn't a lie. We know that you didn't just come across this. We know exactly that you knew exactly what it was and you knew exactly what you were planning to do. And you don't have any remorse or anything. That is how you feel. And you want to see that happen because that's what you want. Now, I personally don't want to see people dead. I don't know about you. This is not my thing. I'm not over there hoping to kill people or hoping to have somebody killed. But you see what I'm saying? This is the thought process of the malignant narcissist / sociopath, right? Who's okay with that. I mean, there's a ton of them. We can go through the whole list, okay, of all these people. And you know who I'm talking about. And it's constant. These people are constant. They do all these wrongdoings. They make all these illegal moves. They make all this money illegally. They do all these things illegally, right? And then they have the audacity to tweet about it, to put out on X, to do all this stuff, all this other stuff, calling out other things, when it's like, you need to be quiet. I mean, at some point you would think that these people have some sort of concept of, man, I got away with murder and I need to be quiet. But they don't, because guess what? They're above it. They're above it because they fall into this malignant, narcissistic, sociopathic, antisocial behavior attitude that our society has been okay with for a very long time. Why is this okay? Why is this okay? And why do we give into these people? Why do we give into these people? I mean, these are ghouls and goblins, and we're giving into their stuff. We're allowing their stuff in our lives, and it's just unacceptable. It is unacceptable behavior, and I, for one, am tired of having these people in our society. I mean, and I'm tired of interacting with these types of people, and I'm tired of these people taking over, and it's sad that we don't have, places where these people can go, large masses of malignant narcissists to go get treatment. But see, the other side of the coin is a lot of these people either have money or they plan on never going, or they don't want to listen to other people, or they don't have the problem. And then the other side of the coin, too, is you have so many people that accept this type of attitude. They accept this type of attitude, and they accept this type of behavior, and they continue to stick with it, even when it's painful and disgusting. And so they always have somebody there in their corner that they can beat up. And that's a huge problem. And so if they were alone on their own, maybe their paranoia would take over, but they still have somebody to basically suck the life out of. Because if they were really on their own and they had to do everything on their own and they didn't have any support system, even if it's support system that's, you're supporting them and you're doing everything, I mean, what do they have? And if they don't have any followers, and they don't have any people that are in agreement with them, then, it could be a very different story. And I think that's something to really talk about right now is how do we deal with these folks? How do we overcome these types of relationships? What do we do? How do we get out of these things? I need you to first see that you're in it and admit it. And one of the first steps that you have to take is you have to finally accept that this person is not going to change and wake up. They're not going to wake up and realize, oh my God, I'm an empath. And oh my God, I love humanity. And I love this person that I'm with. And I care deeply and all this stuff. We have to come to terms with the fact that it's not going to get better. And we have to come to the terms with, speaking our truth to a degree and then seeing how we are probably in a cycle pattern because of a previous relationship or a parental dynamic or a family dynamic. We're in a pattern of accepting these types of toxic people around us and trying to be there for them or caretake for them. Maybe we've always been the caretaker, and that's what you've always done. You've always been the caretaker, always the caretaker, and that's how you got attention, or that's how you got your mom to look at you or listen to you, your dad to even, acknowledge your existence. Maybe you've always been trying to prove yourself. You've been the golden child in the family. Or maybe, no, not the golden child. Maybe you're the black sheep of the family and you're trying to prove yourself. It's interesting how the golden child and the black sheep can shift as well. But I know that many of you might have been the black sheep. You might still be the black sheep. You might still feel like the black sheep, but you might have done so much in the family and done so many good things, but it still doesn't matter because your older brother or younger sister can do no wrong. They can walk on water, even though they don't even hold down a job and they're still living with their parents, right? So we got to accept the fact that we might have learned our behavior of accepting this horrible, horrible, terrible behavior because of our family dynamic. Even maybe some of you might have been in a previous marriage where you accepted this type of behavior, but I think it goes back to family. I think it goes back to family dynamic. I think it goes back to trying to prove ourselves, to trying to prove our value. Because otherwise, when you look at these people intrinsically for who they really are, they're crap. And all they're doing is lying and future faking you to make you believe something. Many of them have these great stories, you're going to do this and that and all this stuff. And it never comes to pass. None of it comes to fruition. None of it happens. It's all BS. And there you are waiting for something to happen and it doesn't happen. And sometimes they're lying to us and they're selling us this bill of goods. But sometimes we're also just lying to ourselves, right? Sometimes we're lying to ourselves like this is going to get better. It's going to get better. They're going to change. They're going to wake up one day and see my value, or they're going to wake up one day and realize, or maybe I'm going to make this comment to them and they're going to wake up. And I want that to happen so bad too. It's not that I'm not saying, I'm not saying that I don't want them to wake up. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think they will. Because remember, it takes more than just words. It takes them to realize that they have a problem. It takes them to recognize that they have a deficiency. It takes them to change their entire mental mindset from being this amazing person that can do no wrong, that can shit on people and do whatever they want to do. And it's okay. It's permissible, not by you, but they're allowed to do it because they're above you. They're better than you, right? That's how they feel. They actually think that. I'm not just saying that. That's what they think. And they probably tell you too. And you go, oh, don't say that. You're being mean. No, but I'm sure that they do tell you how they really feel a lot, which is pretty awful stuff. And so if you're dealing with somebody that has these signs and symptoms and they're constantly taking it out on you, you've got to sit back and realize this is a trauma bond. You are in a trauma bond. This is a very negative situation to be in, and you need to figure out how to safeguard yourself and how to figure out how to get your finances together or whatever to get your stuff together to get out. Okay. And I know that some of you go, well, what if they end up meeting someone else and all this stuff and how is it going to go? They are not going to change. The only thing different if they meet someone else is they're going to take it out on that other person. Okay. It's not all of a sudden you're no longer, enemy number one, target number one. This person is now the target. This person is now dealing with everything. This person is now the one that they go to that they beat up on. That's how this works. A to B. So it's not like they wake up and have some sort of like angelic epiphany, this spiritual awareness, and they're like, oh my God, I finally realized what's going on in my life. I finally realized about the heavens and the spirit and God and where we're here and what we're doing here. No. And I would really like it to happen. But many of you need to get your house in order. You need to figure out what matters most to you. You need to safeguard your mental and emotional and physical well-being. And then you need to figure out how are you going to get through this? How are you going to move on? And then the real work starts, because then we have to repair. You've been, taken advantage of and abused for a long period of time, and now we have to repair you. And that's what I specialize in, is overcoming, narcissistic abuse, overcoming, the coupling of multiple cluster B dynamics and the abuse that's there, and overcoming that and being able to recognize and figure out who we are, really create for the first time our true identity. Because if we really had a true solid identity, we wouldn't accept this type of behavior in our life. We wouldn't. You just wouldn't. Okay, because you would really see it, and you would have so much respect for yourself that you would just end this thing over here. Okay, and so that's what I help people do, is get that respect for themselves, figure out where, what the deficiencies are. We figure out our blueprint, we create our architectural blueprint of who we are, and then we fill it all in, and we build the house. We build you up. We build that up so it's solid, and somebody can't take it down. And I know that many of you go, well, I'm still holding out. But if you're still holding out and it's been a while, you got to really realize you holding out is just holding yourself down. Because remember, if they're coming from the perspective of the malignant narcissist, you are a means to an end. And I hate to say that, but you are. Okay? And so begin to start, circling the wagons. Contacting family you haven't been in contact, if they're helpful, healthy family members. Contacting friends that are helpful, healthy friends. Start figuring out a plan. Some of you might not, it might not be a problem with you financially. Maybe you're the financial breadwinner and it's time to get out. Maybe some of you are going to be affected financially quite a bit if you end this relationship. And that means that we need to figure out, and I know that might have been a reason why you've stayed in it as long as you have. And I feel for you, and I understand that, and I get it, and I'm not making light of that. I'm not. But you have to think about yourself, and you have to think about your soul. And if you have to move in with a friend, or you got to move back in with family who's healthy, or you got to, get an apartment and not live in that big house, I mean, what matters most? Your health and sanity, or the size of the house? And you got to start thinking about that. What matters most? Your health and sanity, your clarity, your truth, or that? And I think a lot of people right now at this time in life are weighing the situation out. And I get it. And I don't take any of this lightly. I don't. I'm here for you. If you'd like to come work with me, you can. You can go to my website at any time. Go to ashleyberges.com, ashleyburgess.com. You can go to the coaching page, and you can set up a coaching session right then. You can also go to ashleyburgess.com and click on that contact page, and you can send me an email, and I will respond ASAP. Also, new video content out twice every week on YouTube. Out every Monday and Thursday is when we post our videos. So check out some new video content there on YouTube. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have almost 200,000 subscribers. So please check out the video content. It's all free. You can also be a member as well and get exclusive content there as well. In the meantime, if you're going through a relationship like this, we have to examine it honestly. Seek our truth. Figure out how to make ourselves better, because pain and suffering on a daily basis is not going to help your sanity, your spirituality, and your clarity. It's going to take away from that. And I'm just here to help you, trying to focus on the things that matter in your life, trying to focus on helping you to identify your truth and your true self. Please share this podcast with anybody that needs to hear it, or anybody that you think might be in a situation like this, or any family or friend that will, acknowledge and resonate with this information. There'll be a next show. We have a show coming out, a podcast every single week. So stay tuned. It usually goes out Wednesday or Thursday, usually on Wednesday morning or Thursday morning at 5 a.m. Check it out. And in the meantime, stay true to yourself, be aware of the pitfalls, and let's try to basically safeguard ourselves as much as we possibly can. I'll see you soon. And the Ashley Burgess Show, me, Ashley Burgess, formerly known as the Live Your True Life Perspectives, will be back this time in 3 shakes.